The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. This is Michael, and today we're gonna talk about the Printronix application sharing. And if you guys have any question during the webinar, please leave the message or your comments at the chat box, and then we will reply you after the webinar. And after the webinar, we will have the quiz, and please just fill out the quiz, and then you'll get the certificate for today's webinar. Okay, so let's welcome today's speaker, Marlon.
Okay, thank you for Michael's introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to join today's webinar. I'm Marlon from the Application Engineering Department, and today we are going to talk about Printronix application sharing. For the next 1 hour, we will introduce the feature for the Printronix printers, and also we will show you how customers can apply printers in their environment. And just as Michael just mentioned, if there's any question, please text in the question bar, and we will gather those questions and answer it in our Q&A section. Okay, it's time for us to dive into the world of Printronix printers. Here's today's agenda. The first, we are going to talk about what is the advantage makes Printronix better. And the second, we will talk about the RFID and ODV2D function, which is embedded in our Printronix printers. And during these sessions, we will have some functions intro and case sharing for both of the functions and how to use these functions with our Printronix printers. And after we introduce these two features, that we will have short conclusions and enter our Q&A sections. And in the last, we'll have a quiz session. So just pay attention to today's webinar. Once you pass today's quiz, we will send you the certificates to prove you that you have passed today's webinar. Okay, so let's start about today's presentation. The first we are going to talk about is what is the advantage makes Printronix better. I think that most of you may use printers before. In the past, we only use printers to print the barcode, and also we just print a label. And we use these labels as the AIDC industry that we will say that these elements are necessary for the AIDC industry. But for now, with Printronix printers, you are able to do more than just a barcode or just a label. As you can see on the slide, that Printronix printer can support both RFID and ODV2D. So with these two functions, that it will make your application be more fulfillment, and we will introduce more for these two functions in later presentation. Okay, the first we're going to talk about is about the RFID function that will show you about the function intro and the case sharing, and the last will be how to use. As you can see in this slide, that you will find out there's RFID. We can be which can be done by applying to lots of the scenarios, such as the management. For example, we can manage lots of the materials or the goods, or even that if there's some customer want to transport their products, and we can track their logistic routes by the RFID tags. And also that with the RFID tags, we can replace the traditional barcodes, because the RFID tags can store more data than the traditional barcodes. And also it can scan faster and wider, or even far away from than the barcode. So which means that RFID is more valuable than the traditional barcode. And as you can see on the right hand side, that we can implement the RFID tags with the clothes, the logistics, the assets we made, maybe the desks, the chairs, or with the transportation in the air or over the sea. Okay, and next, here's some common RFID labels that we will match in our daily life. In the middle, that you can see there's a sandal text. It just includes the paper label, and there's a RFID inlay on the label itself. And this kind of labels can be used for the pallet or on the box that we will use for transferring. But if you are going to paste the label on some special materials, such as the metal, since the metal will influence the efficiency for reading the RFID tags, so we need the special metal tag, just like your right hand side. That with this metal tag, we are able to paste the RFID tag on the forklifts or the iron bottles, which contains the air supply. So with the metal tag, that you will have some metal foil and the carrier to make the tags can be used on the metal material. And on your right hand side, that you will find there's a paper tag. I think that most of you have been to maybe some like the Uniqlo or the GU or some other clothes shops. And with these clothes shops, that they will have the paper tags on their clothes. So we can, those shops can apply these tags as the anti-thief application, and also they can print some of the information for their clothes on these paper tags. We will also introduce it in a later section. Okay, so here's the comparison table between the RFID and the barcode. What kind of advantage does RFID offer? You can see that on this table, the RFID can have the wider reading angle, because for the barcode we can just using the contact type to read the barcode. And also with the RFID tags, it has a longer distance than the barcodes. Usually the barcodes can be only read from within the 3 meters. But with the RFID tags, that you are able to read it up to 30 meters. That will be more convenient for the customers to read their own labels. And also that with the RFID tags that we are able to read the multiple labels at the same time. Instead, the barcode that we can only read one barcode one time. So that's make the operators' efficiency more faster. And with the RFID tag, that we can have the real-time positioning, which means that once you just paste the RFID tags on your goods, then we can use the reader to get where the good is in our warehouse or in our facilities. Because if we just paste the barcodes, that we are unable to find it until we just find the goods. And we also can have, with the RFID, that we can have some kind of different compatibility to for this text. For example, we can not only read the RFID text. We can also write or modify or log the data on this text. It's much more. It has much more function than the barcode itself. And as I just mentioned, that since we can log the RFID text, then it's more secure than the barcode. And with the reading performance, that I think that most of you might make this kind of problem before. Your barcode just become dirty by some of the dust, or just someone just scratched the barcode during the transparent. But with the RFID, you don't need to worry about this. We can still read this text even if it is dirty. And also, as I just mentioned, that it has much bigger user memory, so it can store more data than the barcodes. But however, that there are still some advantage for the barcode, because barcode is more cheaper than RFID tags. And also that with barcode, that its hardware equipment is more, its cost is lower. So we don't need to spend too much money on the barcode's equipment. However, I think that this kind of investment is okay, because with RFID that we can do more than just the barcodes. But for the using RFID tags, that is not to replace the old barcode. I will say that we will using the RFID tags to increase the barcode value. So as you can see on your right hand side, there are two pictures. Both of them are print with the barcode, but we can also print the barcode on the RFID tags. So we can have two kind of identify with the same material. And for example, that we can use the barcode for the checkout, so that most of the customer can use this to get their check on the counter. And we can use the RFID parts for the anti-thief application, and also to manage the stock, so we can know how much where our goods stock is placed, and how many stock do we have in our warehouse. So and also with the RFID, as I just said, that we can prevent the barcode to getting stains. So I think that is not we just use the RFID, so we don't need the barcode anymore. I think that this can be coexist, that we can use these two kind of features at the same time. Okay, in general, that below 4 pictures show how RFID application usually works. The first, we will use an RFID handheld reader to scan a label. So once we just press the scan button with the reader, then it will scan over the whole environment to detect all equipment which just paste the RFID tags. And once we just scan this kind of tags, then it will return the data to our server, and we can check if there's any missing items in our environment, or we can input all of these tags into our server, so it can be our stock checking to make sure that, oh, we just received maybe 100 piece of clothes into our warehouse, and this clothes has been stored to our server. So we don't need to worry about if there's any clothes are missing during transferring. And once the item is lost or it just expired, and we can use the RFID, or our system will have some warning to warn us that, oh, we will need to take care about these things. Okay, so here's the general case for the customer who will apply the RFID tags. And now we are going to share some cases which is we just apply to our customers. How does they use RFID in the true scenario? The first is about the asset tracking. For example, that we will say that customers request they have thousands of assets need to be tracking in their environment, and there are numerous assets which need to be checked across the multiple locations. Just imagine that you have lots of goods, lots of desks and the computers, or even the pencils, something like that, and this need to be checked in your different office. For example, you have the office in Shanghai and office in Taiwan and different office. All of them need to be checked their assets. So in the past, we just use the barcodes to check those assets. So with the barcodes, that it will take the operator lots of time to find the goods. And also, once they find the goods, they need to scan the barcode and to make sure that the barcode has a good quality for scanning. So if the print quality is not so good for the barcode, then it will cause the problem that the operator cannot check these assets very well. But once we just replace the barcode with the RFID, all the things just become different. We can have the precise asset tracking with the on-metal tag or even the standard tags. For example, as you can see on the right-hand side, there's a personal laptop. And with this laptop that we have pasted an RFID on metal tags. So once we just, as I just mentioned on the last page, we just need to get the handheld reader and go inside the office and press the scanning button. Then all of the RFID tags in this environment, I would say that within 30 meters, that this data can be scanned by the reader, and the data can be uploaded to the cloud or to the server. So the service bureau on the on-site print on metal tags can affix the data. And after that, those data can be linked to the assets and to upload to the database. So we can know how much assets are located in this office, and also we can know where the assets is located. I mean that maybe it's just be hidden in the corner of office, and sometimes we just don't know where to find it. And with the handheld reader, it's more easier to find your assets. And the next will be the logistic checking. That customer would like to build up the cash box and cash collection management systems, which means that they will have the box which are filled with the cash. And once they just pick up the cash box out of their office, they want to check how many boxes are taken off from this office, and when does this cash box enter another office. So in this case, that we will need an RFID portal reader. As on your upper right corner, there's a portal reader's icon for your reference. So with this kind of scenario or this kind of equipment, that we can set up the portal readers to numerous branch which need to be checked across the different office. And with this box, that we can check the cash bags or even some variable documents or something that is more valuable than the text itself more precisely. And also that we can know that when we can get the data, when does this cash box be entered the office, or who just bring out this data, who just bring out this text or this box. And it will help us to know if there's anyone just steal the cash box, or they just steal some variable data from our office. And the last case sharing I would like to the last case I would like to share with you is about improve the working efficiency. That, as you can see on the right hand side, that it is a clothing factory. So with the customer that they want to check their inventory accurately, and also in their the whole supply chain management. So once there's some, let's say the material enter their factory, they can use the RFID reader to check the products once the material just entered their factory. And also they can synchronize the data to their server about how many material they just use for manufacture. And also this can help, because in the past we used the barcode, or we used it just be done by manually. And with the RFID tags, it can reduce the labor working hours and improve our working efficiency. So and also that, as we just mentioned, that we can use the RFID portal reader as the NTC function. So we don't need to worry about if there's anyone just pick up the scene and just go out of our factory. And they will pop up some warning and to let you know that if there's any abnormal things happens. So that's back to our Printronix printer. How could we apply the RFID tags with our Printronix printers? It's quite simple. I think that most of you has been know there's a programming language called the PGL, Printronix programming language, that we just need to send the PGL commands and modify the RFID tags. Here's our two kinds of commands which we use for the RFID tags. On your left-hand side is the RF write tag, which means that you need to use this command to write the data into the tags. On the right-hand side is RF write tag. It's quite important, so please remember these two commands. With the RF read tag, that we are able to read the contents of the RF tag. So we can make sure that the data has been written into all of our texts. And next, I'm going to share an example about how we just use the RFID programming language in our true, for example. Here's the print job of the RFID tag. So you can see that we use the normal to create the Printronix print job. And after that, in the right part, right area, that we use this command RF write tag command to program the RFID text data. So we just write down the a string to the text, and after that we use the RFID read tag to read the data back to the system to make sure that we have finished the data writing to the text. So with this kind of example, I think that it will make you more clear about how to apply the PGL commands to your RFID tags or with our Printronix printers. Okay, so I think that we just finished the RFID part, and next we are going to introduce about ODB2D. We will also have the functional intro and the case sharing and how to use the ODB2D part. So the first question we need to ask ourselves, why we need ODB? Because even with the best practice or even with the barcode scanner, it's still hard or it's still difficult to ensure that the barcode quality is consistent. And also if there's a large batch of labels are printed by the printer, sometimes the printer just become overheat and the barcode quality just become poor. And it will make the some finding from the vendor or some other reading issues during our operations. For example, that operator issues that we need to some operator to change the printer setting so we cannot read the barcode properly or print the barcode properly, or as we just said that we just print a large batch of labels that it will make the print quality become poor. And with this kind of situation might be happens during our manufacture, that we will need to figure out how could we verify the back quality barcode and the barcode which fits our expectation. So that's why we need the barcode verifier, let's say the ODB2D. So with this ODB2D, we can verify the barcode automatically. And also it is an all-in-one solution with the Printronix. So we don't need to purchase another equipment such as a scanner or other verifier. We just need to purchase a kit, an ODB2D kit, and install it on our Printronix printer. Then it can help us to avoid the poor quality of barcode printing. Let's say, I will say that in the past, we'll use the scanner and an operator to scan the barcode to make sure that all of our printers, all of our barcodes is print properly and it can be read by the customer. But with the ODB2D, that we don't need to stand in front of the printer anymore. We just need to install this kit, and the ODB2D kits can verify the barcode automatically and to help us even if the overstrike and to avoid the poor quality barcode goes to our customer sites and they will charge us for some funding. So here's the pyramid for the all-in-one solution. As you can see, the scanner is the most basic things that we will do for reading the barcode. And after we get the scanner, we might use the verifier to read the barcode or to give them some grade of the quality. So we will need we may know that this is a good barcode or this is a poor barcode. But after the verifier that we come up the ODV. So with an ODV, we are able to read the barcode and offer to overstrike the barcode if the barcode quality is too poor and to reprint the barcode. And with the Printronix, I think that you are familiar with the P&E. So we can collect all of these barcodes data through our P&E software. And the most important that this is an online solution. So this is a real-time and automatic solution that you don't need to stand in front of your printer and it can save your labor cost. And here's we're going to explain how this ODV works. It's quite simple. The first thing that we just need to print a label. As we just did before, that we send some print command to the printer, or even we can use some labeling software to design our own label. And after that, we just print out label with the barcode. So the ODV2D can verify all of these barcodes to make sure that this it can verify its symbology or its quality for this barcode. If the barcode's quality is not so good, then you will return the data or overstrike the barcode and reprint another new one. And after we just verify the barcode, this data will be returned to our server with the PXML format. And we will talk about the PXML format later. But you will not, I will say that this is the general format which is similar to the XML, that it will be easy to use and we can easy to apply it across the platform. So here's the PXML's introduction. Why we use the PXML? There are three reasons for this. The first, that it is easy to decode. As you can see on your right-hand side, that it's quite simple for you to recognize all of this information. You just say that the length is about 64 millimeter and what kind of data it has been encoded on our text, and also if it has some qualities or some grades, barcode grades, then you will also show on this PXML. And with the PXML, that we can have the cross-platform. So since it's easy to decode, so most of the system can decode this kind of language. And as it's cross the platform, that we are able to use it flexible. Okay. So now I'm going to share some cases which we just apply to our customer sites. The first case we're going to share is about to avoid the poor barcode quality. Some of the customers might have this problem before. Once they just print the poor quality barcode, they will be charged by the customer or they will be charged by the vendor. So they will need to spend more, they will need to cost more efforts on the inspection, which will cost the higher labor cost. But now, once we just install the ODB2D equipment, we can detect the barcode quality while the label just printing during the operation. And with the Printronix, this kind of solution can work with the P&E software, and we can check the barcode quality. And you can also track the label. As you can see on the right-hand side, the barcode just being struck out, so it cannot be read anymore. And it can avoid us to paste the barcode on the box and ship it to the customer. And it is the all-in-one solution, so we don't need the extra label need or the extra equipment. And the next, for the next customer, that they may want to decrease their time of rework. So with this those customers, some of the unqualified or the unreadable labels can start will cause some issues during their operation. So if we can stop these labels be printed out before this labeling, then it will be helpful for those customers. And with the ODB2D solution, that this is reliable with the 24/7 operation. And we can just detect the barcode quality while the printing. And also, for example, that printer can overtrack the label and reprint automatically if we just set up the condition. Okay, so how could we apply the ODB? It's not so, as we just mentioned earlier, that the ODB2D use the PXML for the operation. So with the Printronix printer, that it will return out the print results by the PXML language. So once we just the only thing for the customer to do is that they just need to receive those PXML and to generate the expect reports with those comments. As you can see on the bottom side, we have the data returns on the bottom field. And with this kind of PXML, now we are able to generate the table as the upper side. So with the table or with the Excel file, that it will be more easier for the customer or for you to have to apply the ODB2D during the operation. Okay, so now we are going to have a short conclusion for today's webinar. For the Printronix printer that we have two special features for the Printronix printer. The first is about the RFID. That with the RFID, we are able to, it's more easier for us to check the inventory. And also, we can combine with some anti-thief and to prevent the inventory just being stolen from others. And also, we can use the RFID have the accurate records of the usage history, and it can be tracked or it can be upload to our system. And with the ODB2D, that we can prevent the poor quality barcodes, and which might cause us have the extra costs and to be charged by our customer. And also we can record all of our print data. So which means that if once we just record all of this data in our server, and if customer just say, hey, Marlon, your barcode is not so good, and they have the print quality is not, didn't fit our expectation, and we will have the print data record and show the customer. No, I think that it's not a problem because we have all of this data upload to our server, and it can be the evidence to be avoid the charge or avoid the fine from the customer side. And with the RFID and OD2D solution, that all of these are the all-in-one solution. So we just need to purchase the all-in-one kits or the kits from the Printronix, that's it. It can decrease the equipment cost, and also it's easy to integrate. So you don't need to develop your own ODB2D, or you don't need to develop your own RFID encode decode solution by yourself. We help you to do this already. We have already integrate this kind of solution with our kit. Okay, so now here's our Q&A session. We'll check about the question. I think that for now that there's no too many questions so far. So yeah, we just get the question that sure, we will share this presentation with the attendees, and you will receive it after the webinar. And please be noticed that there will be a quiz, and also there's a questionnaire after this webinar. So please help us to fill up this quiz. And once you just pass the quiz, and you will receive the certificate for today's webinar. And in the bottom side, there's also some reference for you that you can get